Hey everyone, temperature gauge fix for Pajero. This one was playing up, but it seems to be behaving now. Every time I turn the ignition on, I'd get a different reading. It's not doing it now, but we're going to pull it off and we're going to solder up the resistor. So we've got two screws there I've already removed, one here, one here. We pull this fascia panel off. Like so. This has actually got a couple of clips on the back at the bottom, one there and one there. This was already broken, so we'll replace this with another one for the customer. And then we've got 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. We'll take those screws off, and this cluster will pretty much pull straight out. All the plugs are captive. Right, so I've pulled the instrument cluster out, and this is what I mean by captive plugs. So the plugs will stay there, you just got to pull the cluster out. Here's the cluster here, and show you the back of it. There we go, and we've got our 3 plugs there. Alright, so what we want to remove is this PC board here, this printed circuit board here. So I'll take this into the workshop now and show you the rest. Alright, we're going to pull this PC board off, 5 screws. Should have used my cordless screwdriver. Okay, PC board should pull off. That screw there still holding up. Okay, and I'm just going to turn this up. Let the screws drop out. Okay, now what we want to do is resolder, I'll turn this around, the R10 resistor. So the R10 resistor is here, and we just want to resolder both sides of the resistor. You're best off with a very small soldering iron, because if you get a big one, you get too much heat into it, this resistor moves, it's very hard to get it back in position. While we're here, we're also going to do the R12 resistor. This can affect your fuel gauge. Fuel gauge on this particular car is okay, but we are going to solder that one while we've got it all apart. Alright, so I'm just going to come down here, and I'm just going to give it a touch of solder. My soldering iron is actually a little bit too big for this. You need a really small one, but it does work. I just want to be careful not to get too much heat into it. So that's one side done. And it generally doesn't look pretty with a big soldering iron like this, but we don't need pretty, we just need functional. And the soldering iron, I think the battery on my soldering iron must be going flat. It's taking a while. I'll try a bit more on there. Come on. Okay, that's the R10. Go to the R12. Now these, the cause of the fault is just dry solder joints over time. So you can in fact, I've seen people just run a heat gun over these, and it's not low temperature solder, but the heat gun seems to do the trick on a lot of occasions. And that just moved. I'll let that cool off a bit. Luckily it went straight back in position. Alright, we'll have to turn this. Try and get in there. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so we've got them all soldered back up. The R12 resistor did move, so we're going to have to double check and make sure the fuel gauge is working okay. It should be, because I believe it went straight back in position. So we're just going to push this in. Okay, we're going to put the 5 screws in, which I'll do off camera, and then I'll show you what else we need to do. Okay, so we've put the PC board on, we've screwed the 5 screws back in. What we need to do now, and some of the tutorials don't show you this part, we need to take this perspex cover off very gently, and basically I'm just pushing down on the clips so they release. Okay, so the perspex cover off, and I'm not sure if you can see, there's a little bit of distortion just here from where we've pushed the PC board in, because it's pushed this screen out. So what we're going to do is just push the 4 corners in. So one there, one there, one there, and one there. We'll go around again. All right, and that's back in. Now, if you skip this part, you'll find your speedo or your odometer doesn't read properly. Sort of like a watch screen that's been damaged. You'll get half numbers and what have you. But we'll put this back on, and it's ready to go back in the car to be tested. Okay, so we're going back in with the cluster, plugging it into the captive plugs. Just going to feel around until I get it. Okay, why aren't you going in? There we go. It's not usually that difficult, usually locates pretty quick. Okay, we're going to check it. So your speedo, if you didn't put your PC board in properly, your speedo would not read, which, if I was to be perfectly honest with you, is exactly what happened with this one. We fixed it off camera. The fuel gauge is working okay. That's exactly where it was prior to the repair. And the temp gauge, we're really going to have to take it for a run to make sure that we've fixed the problem. So from here, we're basically just going to put the 4 screws back in, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to put the fascia panel back on, and we're going to give it a test run. That's it, we're done.